Okay, hold your comments, guys, because it'll be live, okay?
Yep.
Nice. I'm going to turn the music on, and I'm just going to do an intro, okay?
Okay.
And then you can come back in, because there's no way for you to know when it starts.
Okay.
Welcome to On the Hunt with Alpin Optics. My name's Paul G. Newton. And if it looks like I'm doing a radio program, it's because what you're seeing is behind the scenes. And there's no one running the camera, so if it's out of focus, oh well. But we have today Mr. Jason Miles and John Dallas. How are you guys doing?
Doing great,
Doing good,
Paul.
Paul.
Good to
How
see
are
you.
you?
Excellent. Doing excellent. So I'm just going to hand over the program to Mr. Jason Miles. And I guess we got to run the Oppo, don't we?
Yeah, I guess we need to.
All right, here we go.
I can see myself on here. Hey, Paul.
Can
Yeah, but my gun won't go away.
All right, back to you, Mr. Jason Miles.
Well, welcome to an impromptu version of On the Hunt with
You
Alpin
ain't kidding.
Optics. Well, Mr. White called, and we were supposed to be on together this evening. We had a little technical difficulty last week, but we were going to do it again tonight. But he's actually hunting and got a turkey gobbling down in the woods, so he may be joining in later. I don't know, but if he does, he'll at least have a fresh hunting story for us. And I think, you know, speaking of hunting, John, you've been doing some scouting in Indiana. We're both from Southern Indiana. What kind of stuff are you seeing out there?
Well, on some farms that I've been going to, the numbers are way down. But other farms, the numbers are way up. Um, I'm getting lucky on one farm and not so lucky on another. But I am seeing a few, and I have a few, uh, that I've been watching over a period of the last 2 weeks, I would say. And out of 5 different places to hunt, I'm probably going to have 2 good ones right now.
Well, you're a little bit
What
ahead
have
of
you
the
been
game on
seeing?
me. Some of my old favorite spots, you talk about the numbers being down in some places and up in others. They're definitely down in mine. Um, and me and some buddies were kind of talking today. Seems like the overall numbers, at least in our area here in Southern Indiana, seems like the numbers are way down from previous years. And we were kind of talking about some of the causes of that. And what's your opinion? Do you think the numbers overall are down, or what's your thoughts on
I
that? And if
think
you think that, what do you think the causes could be?
I do. I think the numbers are down, and they were down last year a little bit. I don't know if it's predators. Maybe it's you know turkeys not nesting like they usually do. But I got a feeling it's got a lot to do with predators. What do you think there?
Yeah, I think it's that. I think it's a combination of a lot of things. And there's the potential for some things that maybe we haven't seen before. We were talking today about treated seeds that a lot of the farmers have went to, and kind of just wondering if maybe there's a connection there. Around here, been a huge explosion, in my opinion, of the bobcat population, and I think that's got a lot to do with it. Fur prices are down, so you don't have the coon hunters that you used to have, and the coons and the possums, they do a lot of damage on those nests, and I think a lot of
Right.
that all plays together to see what we're seeing.
Yeah, I agree with you there. The bobcat population here in Indiana is overwhelming now. I've been doing some predator hunting through the winter. I've found out that I've called in more bobcats than coyotes, so that kind of
Yeah.
tells me that it could be putting a smackdown on the turkeys.
Yeah, obviously, they can get them right off the roost. A bobcat is a killing machine. I think that's definitely a big part of our problem. As you know, we don't have a season for bobcat here in Indiana yet. Um, Hopefully, that's something that'll change soon. And there definitely needs to be some other causes looked into too, the coon population, that kind of thing. I'm just fearful that if we don't do something, I think we're going to see our turkey population gone.
Yeah, I think you're
Uh,
right there. Go ahead, Jason.
Oh no, I didn't know if you heard me there for a second, but um, yeah, overall, I think our numbers are down, and hopefully, one way or another, we can keep our turkey population where it's a good, healthy population where we can hunt. And but I do think we're going to have to make some changes, or I think we're really going to struggle keeping those birds, in healthy numbers.
Yeah, have you been seeing any turkeys at all
I've seen a
in your
few.
hunt?
Right around my house here, as you well know, you and Rick hunt a lot of this property right around here. But and in years past, there's been a lot of turkeys here, but it's been far and few in between. I have seen a couple. Um, probably been a week or so actually since I've seen any.
Yeah, I was by there a few days ago, and about two gobblers is about all I've seen around that area you're talking about. Um, but I only got a couple farms that I've really been seeing them on, and there's a few. When last year there was hardly any there. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that is odd. But like I say, I just know what I'm seeing here close to home just doesn't look real promising. Been out a few times. I have heard a couple of gobbles. I'm sitting here on my back patio now, and normally this time of year I could be right here in the yard and at least hear a couple gobbling this time of the evening. But it's been a long time since I've seen one here in the yard or heard one gobble from the yard.
Right, right.
So, hey, guess what, guys? Our illustrious leader, he has joined the show. Hello, Mr. Rick.
Oh, he's smiling too, isn't he?
Well, no. Let me first apologize. I had walked. We were set up this afternoon. I'd walked down to the truck to get on the phone call, and I heard turkeys gobbling, and I ran back. I knew I had about 20 minutes. I ran back, and they were gobbling. We have a fence line about 40 yards from us, and they're on the other side of the fence. There's some bushes along the fence, and they're gobbling their heads off. But it's a woven wire fence, and I just don't think they can get through it. So they're still gobbling. Josh, my camera guy and fellow pro staffer, set up the hill here, and I slipped off to get on here. So I hope I'm not interrupting what you guys were talking about. I heard a little bit of it, and maybe you've already talked about this, and I apologize if I go over any more of it. But Indiana's coming up next Saturday or next Wednesday, and I think this weekend is the U season. Did you talk about that, Jason, at all?
No, we hadn't made it that far, Rick. Yeah, the youth season comes in this Saturday. Actually, I've got a young man I'm going to take out. Looking forward to that.
Yep.
And we
John and
yeah,
I
we
know
always try to get a kid out there when we can. And I like to take other people hunting, Rick. We do a veterans hunt, and then we're not doing that this year, but we're obviously still trying to get who we can out there. And I've got a couple of kids that don't really have the opportunity to get out as much as maybe some of the rest of us do. So it's a real fun opportunity to get those young ones out there and just enjoy the excitement with them.
Yeah, that sounds like
John and I will start hunting on Wednesday, and it's kind of neat actually, because this is the first time I've actually done the show from the turkey woods. I mean, I'm 100 yards away from where we're set up, and turkeys are gobbling like right now, and I just hope they're not coming through the fence. My luck is he's going to be up there filming, and they'll come right into the decoys, and I'm 150 yards from him down over a hill doing the show. But that's okay. I'm just sitting here on the grass enjoying what Mother Nature has to offer, and I have had a phenomenal season. I'm looking forward to getting up there and hunting with John, and obviously, Jason, you usually do a cookout, and maybe we can talk you into throwing some steaks on the grill again.
Absolutely. Yeah. Look forward to it every year. Me and Rick hunted together for a long time over the years, and thank goodness John figured out how to run a camera. So he gets to drag that camera along a little bit more than I do now.
Yeah. Now listen, Jason,
I'm glad you're around, John. You took a load off.
Appreciate it, man. I'm having fun with it.
I don't know if you've talked about hunting turkeys with a crossbow at all, but I'll tell a real quick story. Years ago, I went to hunt with Jason, and we actually hunted a spot that had a lot of turkeys, but it was a horse farm, and they did not want any guns shot around the horses, which was fine, on the horse farm. Well, I didn't bring my bow, but Jason had a crossbow that he said I could use, and I had never hunted with a crossbow. I maybe shot a crossbow once or twice, but I went out with a crossbow, and that first day, we called in a turkey and shot it on video with a crossbow. So it was kind of cool. But Jason, I want you to talk a little bit about, I know you hunt with a crossbow quite a bit. What do you like for broadheads? Are there some tips and tactics that you might
Yeah,
maybe talk
absolutely.
about?
Yeah, absolutely, Rick. Well, personally, I like the challenge of it. A lot more of a challenge than a shotgun to me, personally. But it's not quite as much of a challenge as, a vertical bow. Um, there's a lot going on when you're trying to film a turkey hunt, especially if you're self filming. And the vertical bow just wasn't working, the way I wanted it to in that situation. So I picked up the crossbow, and I really enjoy it. I set my decoys usually at 7 or 8 yards away from the blind, as you know, and I like that up close and personal experience. And if they don't come into that distance, I don't shoot them, and I wait for that. That's kind of the thrill that I look for and that I really enjoy and look forward to it every year. But um, as far as broadheads, you know, at that distance, I'm not a whole lot worried about my flight. So I like a big blade. Um, I really like the mechanicals, but I went to a hybrid, and and the one I use, I'll tell you, is a Bloodsport Gravedigger, just because that's the one that I really like for turkeys up close. They've worked very well for me in the past, and I fully expect them to work well for me this season. All the same.
Yeah, well, I like a mechanical broadhead. I shoot interlocks, and they've got a new broadhead out called the Carnage, and I've had tremendous success. Now, when we talk about success, and I want to give John kind of a shout out on this one. I have been blessed over the years, and I've always been pretty successful in the turkey woods, and this year has been a phenomenal season for me so far. But one of the reasons that I am successful, and I hunt a lot of different states, but I don't have time to roll in and do a lot of scouting. So in this situation, coming into Indiana, John has actually, for the last, I believe, a couple of weeks now, has been up just about every day. He's out scouting. He's figuring out what these turkeys are doing, where they're roosting, and I can roll into camp. Now, there's still some challenges. We got to call them in. We got to set up right and all this. But John is doing a lot of that homework for me. And even though and especially what's really important this year is the turkey numbers are down. So, it's even more important to have that scouting done. So John, first of all, thank you. But it's an important part of the hunt, don't you think, John?
I do. Doing the homework and all, and figuring out where they're roosting, and when they fly off the roost, where they're going, when they hit the field, what they're doing, where they're hanging out at. When they leave the roost, is a big part of good success.
Now, one of the things that I really look forward to when I go to John's hunting the spring and fall, and even if I just stop in the summer, is John has a way of cooking turkeys that is second to none. John, I want you to talk a little bit about how you make. It's phenomenal. And if you're looking for a cooker smoker, trust me, this is probably one of the best investments you'll make when it comes to cooking any kind of game, any meat, pork, you name it. But tell them, John.
Well, my cooker is homemade, but anyways, it's you pretty much it's like a big pot, and
It's an
it's got a ring
Orion.
around it.
Yep,
Yeah,
it's called the
Orion
Orion
makes the
Smoker. Yep.
Yeah, Orion makes the smoker. You can get it at Bass Pro or somewhere like that. But I made one homemade, but it holds a charcoal in the ring. You fire it up, put your turkey underneath it, and 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours later, your turkey's done. Now you would think that the turkey would be all dried out, but it's so full of juice and it's less mess. It don't take as long to cook, and I think Jason's tried it a couple times, and over at his house, I think we fixed a good one over there.
Yep.
Yeah, I
It is
always enjoyed it.
phenomenal.
Well, I always knew I was going to eat good. When I pull in my driveway and I see John's smoker outside of my garage, I know I'm going to have a good meal. There's going to be some really good turkey, and I'm betting there's going to be some potato salad close by.
Yeah.
There you
Hey,
go.
Paul,
Yeah,
how we doing? How we doing on time, Paul?
plenty of time.
Okay, listen, I've got turkeys and they're gobbling, and Josh just sent me a message and said, hurry. So if you don't mind, I'm going to check out. These guys can handle the
Uh,
show. Paul, you You can guide them through it. Jason, jump right in there. Tell them, talk a little fishing, talk a little scouting, you name it. You guys take over if you don't mind. I'm going to just bow out of here real quick. Is you guys good with that?
Hey, good
Good
luck to
luck,
you,
Rick.
buddy.
I expect a picture, here real shortly.
Okay, well, we're either going to get one or we're going to roost them and be right on them in the morning. But anyways, guys, I really apologize for cutting out, but make sure I'll be back in tune next Wednesday. But I'm going to jump off here, let you guys handle the show. You're doing a great job. Paul, take them through it, and we'll catch you next week. See you guys.
See you.
See ya.
So he just comes in and bombs this.
Well, here we go.
I worked my butt off to get it really good and great, and then he just leaves.
I'm trying to figure out how to get off.
Well, what would you expect from Rick? I mean, he is a natural born turkey killer, and there's a goblin turkey.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect anything less. But anyway,
I spent most of that time
yes,
fixing the graphics so we could see all three of you at once, and as soon as I got it finished, he was out.
Well, you did really good on it, Paul. At least you got there. That's better than I would have done.
We got this new software.
But anyway,
it works out really well, actually.
Yeah, you're doing a phenomenal job. Somehow or another, you got me and John and Rick all live from 3 different places, and Rick turkey hunting. So I'm impressed. But
that's 5 years
awesome.
ago, this would be absolutely impossible. You know that?
Yeah, it would. It's really cool to be able to come together, and just be able to talk to guys all over the country like this. I mean, don't get me wrong, me and John are not that far. I guess I could have drove over his house, but
we're pretty close.
Being able to pull Rick in, that's pretty cool technology just to get to do this. So
it is pretty neat, and I'm very lucky that I get to do all this for a living.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep.
And John, there was one thing that I wanted to touch on. One other thing. Since I've started hunting with you around a little bit and got to know you pretty good, it wasn't that long ago when you picked up a video camera, you were a nervous wreck, and you've come a long way, man. You've laid down some really good footage, and talk about that, what it takes to get to the point you're at now, because I've been very impressed with where you started to where you are now over the years.
Well, I tell you, I'll be honest. My first hunt with Rick, he showed me how to use his camera a little bit. I didn't know anything about it, and all I know is I was supposed to be running the camera, and the next thing I know, I'm using the binoculars and following the deer with the binoculars instead of the camera. But he did kill that deer.
I know the exact deer.
Yeah, you were there. Yeah. But no, Rick's taught me a lot about his camera, and I finally got it down. Now I've been filming probably for, I don't know, 6, 7 years, and I've gotten pretty good at it. And there's a lot to it. I manually run the camera, and you manually have to focus that camera as the critters coming in. Keeping him in focus all the way in. There's a lot to it, and I like Rick's camera because you can make the changes on the outside of his camera with just a switch, other than my camera that I have to go in and use it like a computer and be able to change the screens and the settings. But his is a lot easier to run, but there's nothing easy about it. It's a lot to learn, that's for sure.
Yeah, and as a cameraman, you go through all the emotions that guy behind the gun or the bow or whatever, everything he's going through, the intensity's there for the cameraman too. And a lot of people understand that.
Right. I couldn't tell you the times that, some maybe 140s deer walked in, and I'm filming them coming in, and Rick, he lets them walk. He's looking for something a little bigger, and every time something like that comes in, not being used to that, I mean, I'm shaking just as bad as I would be with a gun in my hand and trying to run a camera
Yeah.
and playing it cool and trying to be quiet and um, not as much movement as you need to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on a cameraman because the last thing you want to do is screw that hunt up for that guy, and you want to make sure the footage is good. And man, it is a lot of pressure, and my hat's off to you. I've done my share of it too, and I know what it takes, and I've been around it a lot longer than you, and very impressed with how far you came in really a short period of time.
Well, I appreciate it. I love going to Iowa. That's a fun time. Every
Yeah,
stand's a little different. Uh, you know, just getting up there and getting everything set up. There's a lot to it. I mean, pulling that camera up in the tree without dropping the camera, getting it set up on the swing arm. There's it's a bigger job than a lot of people would think for sure.
it absolutely is, and like I say, I don't know, I enjoy it a lot myself, but it definitely presents a lot of challenges that a lot of people don't really think about when they're watching a hunting show or a video on YouTube or whatever it is. But just like
Yeah,
Paul back there trying to get us all on here, it
yeah,
takes a lot to make that all come together. And just like going live, I can't imagine being in his shoes trying to get all this together and going live. So my hat's off to you too, Paul.
While you've been doing this talking, I've been trying to fix my shot, which is not going very well.
Oh shoot. Well,
so,
I don't know
so
what your opinion
Jason,
is, Paul, but I think we could probably, go ahead and wrap it up and start checking Facebook to see if Mr. White has any luck or not. Unless, John,
Well,
you got
we've got
anything
some
else you want to talk
comments.
about?
We've got some
Okay,
well,
I
you
comments
can't
were
see
here.
those. What do we got?
All right, let me go into a 3. There we are. And then I
there. He
can
is.
actually
Hey,
get the
Paul, I see you.
comments up on the screen now. I know it's hard for you guys to see. Do.
Yeah, you're probably going to have to read them to us.
What is going on? Okay, I just won't do that. All right, so it says a lot of predators here in Indiana from Phil Smith. Saw a couple of bobcats during their deer season. Okay.
Yeah.
Becky Messer Whitaker says hello.
Hello.
Phil Smith says it's looking like Phil Smith says it's looking like Indiana is going to get a trapping season for bobcats, according to the Sportsman's Roundtable.
Boy, I hope he's right.
Yes.
I think anybody that turkey hunts would agree. Actually, deer hunts or turkey hunts. I think we all agree that we're going to have to address that issue, and if we don't do it pretty quick, I think we're going to see a real issue bringing our flock and our herd back.
Yeah. Well, I'll be putting out a trap or two for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Lori Smith says, "Hey guys." Jason
Hey, Lori.
Mule, he says, "My opinion, the turkey population is down in North Missouri as well."
I would agree. I think there's a lot. I think what I've seen, and kind of why I mentioned the treated seed earlier, and it may just be a coincidence, may have nothing to do with it. I grew up farming. I know there's necessities to all that's, not trying to beat up on any farmers by any means. And it may have no connection, but it seems like anywhere in the Midwest where there's a lot of agriculture and we're using these treated seeds, I think that coincides at least a little bit with the downward numbers we're seeing.
Okay. Arkansas, there used to be quite a few turkeys that I would see on the road and around places, but we even put down 50 pounds of corn, and all we got were crows.
Yeah, that's kind of similar to my backyard here. I mean, we
Yeah.
used to have turkeys here in the backyard. We've got a deer feeder back in the back, and just we don't hunt here. We just like to have the animals here in the yard, but we
Yeah,
don't have them here anymore. We've got the deer.
we were looking for the turkey or deer, but crows and probably raccoons. I mean, it's too dark and it's about 50 yards away, so probably can't see them at night. It's not lit at all. But
Yeah.
Lawrence Mullins says our season came in Monday. I did some scouting. He's out scouting for his particular hunt.
Louis is a good friend of mine. He out in Virginia. He's actually a veteran. Thank you for your service, Louis. Louis come to a few of our disabled veterans hunt, and my guess is Louis out rolling around in his track chair. So my hat's off to Louis too. That's a guy that gets out in the outdoors. He's had a tough time through his life, but he's got a positive outlook. Loves to get in the outdoors and does whatever it takes to get out there. And man, thanks again, Louis, for all your service, sacrifice, and good luck out there in that turkey woods. I know you're going to get one.
See, Becky Whitaker says, I have more hens on our property than Tom's. Edwin can agree with that.
I think that's a good problem to have, wouldn't you, John? At least there's hope
Yeah,
for the future there.
yeah, I'd say there's a Tom or two around there if there's a few hens.
Mike McDonald says he's tagged out.
Mike McDonald.
Mike McDonald is always tagged out. I bet he's still no. I mean, he's probably not packing a gun or anything, but I bet he's still in the woods with somebody. That man lives in the woods. I don't think he ever works. But anyway,
yep.
Yeah, thanks for the comments, guys, girls, Lori. But Paul, I think we wrap it up. That's about the end of our half hour, and I think my wife's got supper ready, and I just got home from work, and I'm ready for it. So how about you, John?
Yeah, I hear you. Jason, good talking with you, and I was glad to be on the show. Paul, thank you very much.
Yeah. So I appreciate everybody
Paul.
watching, and Rick will be around again eventually if he can find his way out of the woods. he gets on to me.
We all know that's not going to
happen. He gets on to me so much because I always give him a hard time, and I asked him one day about Sasquatch, and he about lost it. I was just kidding.
As a Sasquatch, he'd be trying to get its number.
Well, I appreciate it, guys.
Oh, my. Yeah, Paul, have a good one. John, good talking with you. See you guys later. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.